But now it's my great pleasure to introduce to you the Regional Director of SBA, Donna Davis. She was appointed by President Obama in December of last year. She was before the President and CEO of Arizona's Small Business Association. And by her own admission, she is a serial entrepreneur. And in fact, for many years, produced Governor Napolitano's inaugurals, and is a past president of NABO, National Association of Women Business Owners. So please welcome Donna Davis.
Good morning. Good morning. Let me turn this on.
How's that? Good morning?
Good morning.
All right, the coffee's working. Well, thank you, and thank you, Congresswoman, for that wonderful introduction, and thank you for your service and your fearless leadership. You know, I'm grateful for women like the Congresswoman who have blazed and are continuing to blaze trails for us over the many decades and in the future for our daughters and granddaughters and cousins and nieces, so that all of us can enjoy maximum personal and professional achievement and fulfillment. I have to tell you, it's an absolutely a joy and a privilege to serve as the regional administrator for the Small Business Administration. The region that I have is Arizona, California, Nevada, Hawaii, and Guam, American Samoa, and Northern Marianas. So I always joke, I wish I got paid by the mile. It's such a vast territory. But the exciting part about this region is that you may not know is that nearly 20% of all the small businesses in the nation are located in my region. And that's extraordinary. And also in California, you know, we have about 28 million businesses across the nation. We have about 3.8 million in California. But California is the only state in the nation that has over 1 million women business owners. We have about 1.1 million women business owners in this state. The second state is Texas with about 737,000. So you can see the delta, how far we are. So again, a lot of opportunities for us to do business together and to enjoy some wonderful success in our businesses. And as the Congresswoman mentioned, we are so fortunate to have the bold leadership of our new administrator, Maria Contreras-Sweet. Many of you may know her since she is from California. And her mission is to build an SBA that's more modern, accessible, inclusive, and streamlined. And earlier this week, she announced some major changes, which we are all very excited about, that will help you get capital easier, incentivize banks to be more willing to do those, and just modernizing that, being more inclusive for our women, minorities, and veterans in some of the programs we do, and just being a market maker. Being able to bring business matchmaking, whether it's in the federal government area, the private sector, or international. International is a very exciting area because I don't know if you realize that 96% of the purchasers in the world live outside of the United States. We have just scratched the surface there. So some very exciting opportunities there. Now, by show of hands, how many women here, individuals here, are actually right now women business owners or entrepreneurs? Let me see your hands. Okay, wow. Now, how many by show of hands are looking to jump in the water? Okay, that's great. Well, programs like these, obviously, again, are very beneficial. And Julia, I want to thank you for hosting this. You know, programs like this don't happen in a vacuum, and she was so gracious to host this, and we were sharing some wonderful stories, like being a mom and an entrepreneur. And I remember one time when I was in the private sector and I was serving on a Fortune 500 board. I was the only and youngest woman on the board. And again, you have to just speak up and get out there. But I remember my daughter was an infant, and and I had rushed out and I had burped her and everything. And so I'm at this big meeting. You just throw a diaper. Those of us have mommy, you just throw a diaper. Blah, blah, blah. So I get this board meeting. And luckily, one of the board of directors, he came up. I think he was from AT&T, and just kind of tapped me on the shoulder, and I still had some spit up. He was very. So the life of being a mom and an entrepreneur, and as a serial entrepreneur, I've grown 4 businesses. One from zero. Those of you who know, started with zero to over $10 million in a bit management company. And so I know firsthand the challenges that keep us up at night, the uncertainties, the ups and downs, and so I'm going to share with you my business mantra. And I think this will be a very receptive audience. And my business mantra is, blessed are the flexible, for they shall not be bent out of shape. We use that daily. But again, at the SBA, we really understand that small businesses and entrepreneurs are not only the backbone of this country, the economic backbone and engine and job creators, but you all are also the heart and soul of America. You're what makes this country great. And at the SBA, we really focus on what we call the 3 C's and a D. The D is our disaster loans. A lot of people don't realize that we actually have disaster loans in a disaster. We're right on site with FEMA. And whether you lose your business building or you need some business working capital or even your personal residence, we're there to help. But our 3 C's quickly: capital, counseling, and contracting. Capital, again, making some exciting changes on how to get you more access to capital, whether it's crowdfunding issues, micro lending, real estate, just a small little working capital loan, export loan, whatever it is, we're here to try to help you, working with our lending partners to get you the access to capital you need to either start up or to grow your business. Now, how many of you have seen the movie Jerry Maguire with Tom Cruise and Cuba Gooding Jr.? Well, when I was in the private sector, that was one of our projects for my company. We did the location production for that movie. And what's the iconic line from that movie?
Show me the money.
Sure, that's what we do at the SBA. We show you the money. Okay, so that's really what one of our passions is, to really help show you the money so you can grow and thrive. And I always say, get a line of credit when you don't need it. Just a little business advice: don't wait until you're in a pinch, because banks aren't going to be as receptive to get it. And make sure you have 3 BFFs. And who are those 3 BFFs? Your best friends forever? Banker, accountant, CPA,
Lawyer.
and a lawyer. And yeah, don't just go see them when you're like in a panic. Take them coffee, go to lunch, and nurture that relationships, and then they'll be some of your best advocates. Contracting, the federal government, think of a number in your mind. How much the federal government purchases in a year, awards contracts. It's $400 billion, the largest consumer and purchaser of goods and services in the world. And at the SBA, we help small businesses get $100 billion of that. Now, we've got our Women-Owned Small Business Program you'll hear more about, and that's one of the things, one of the initiatives for this administration and our administrator is how do we need to do better there. We know that. And how do we help women, businesses like you, get more federal contracting? And several ways we're working at that is to create more of the eligible industries, increase the number of eligible industries is one way, and working with Congress on the sole source authority. Those are a couple of ways that we can really help grow and get more participation by women. Now, those of you, we're doing a Challenge Her program this afternoon. Some of you may be going to that. But I want you to know that we're doing webinars specifically on doing federal contracting with the government for women. If you're interested, every Tuesday and Thursday this month, I think the last one is the 26th. It's 11 a.m. our time here. Free webinar on how to get to play in that arena. If you're interested, let me tell you the gal you got to get the information. It's Leanne, L-E-A-N-N .Delaney, D-E-L-A-N-E-Y at SBA.gov. If you're interested in participating on that webinar, of course it's free. Third C, real quick, counseling. We help you with counseling, mentoring. Our district office here is just phenomenal, led by our just the stellar Mark Quinn. Mark, where are you at? Please. I know he doesn't want to be recognized. He's back there. He's one of the Y chromosomes in here, so you can't miss him. And Marlo, Hannah, yeah, Mark, please stand. Right, you need to know Mark. He's great. Thank you. And the whole district office is just extraordinary on helping you. They don't have the answer. If we don't do that training, they'll know who, whether it's SCORE, our small business development centers, our women business centers like Renaissance. We have a new over in Berkeley, and we're really there to help you to grow, and so you don't have to recreate the wheel and try to do it by yourself. One story I'll tell you before I kind of end with my statement is, having been a woman business owner for many, many years, we've really come a long way, and I'm really proud to have this position and represent this agency because of what you all do. And just one story that I'll share with you, because I tell my daughter who's getting married next week, our only child, is, don't lose sight of the ball and don't go backwards. So many of us have worked so hard to get to where we're at. And a story, you can't make this up, that happened when I was I was a park ranger at the Grand Canyon right out of college. Had come to got married and got a new job, and I was interviewing for this job with a gentleman, an older gentleman, and he'd known, obviously he saw I was young, and he could see that I was recently married. He had discerned that in our conversation. But about 2/3 in the interview, he just asked me outright, and again, this was back in the very beginning of the 80s, he just asked me outright, what method of birth control did I use? Now, being an overachiever, I'm thinking, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh man, I didn't study for that question. What are your weaknesses? But because of my youth and naivete, quite frankly, I just looked at him in all earnestness, I think, and I said, well, what method do you recommend? We still need to blaze trails for those who fall. We are standing on the shoulders of so many women before us, and we have others who are going to be standing on our shoulders. Small business continues to be a high priority for this president, and at the SBA, our promise is to work tirelessly and diligently on your behalf to make sure you have the access to capital you need, the contracting opportunities, and the counseling assistance that you need to grow and to innovate. And don't forget, my favorite saying is, the candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. So let's light our candles, let's support each other, let's work together, and let's grow together. Thank you.